major message at 2A. Family matters, doesn't it? Notice Jonathan, the thing that matters to him is to take care of the people he's responsible for, his wife, his children. And he'll do anything in his power. But notice, family matters, the other side of it. They're all working together, aren't they? Notice you don't have a child sitting there going, why do I gotta do this? This is dumb. I don't want to. This is huge, right? They're all in this together. They're all working together. Of course, at 2B, the topic for us was theme, and that we work with at 2A. But let's give a little bit of thinking to this repetition at 2B of this line, nothing puzzles God. In other words, what is the point of this story and how does that repetition work? No matter what happens in your life, you got to keep working. You got to keep believing. You got to keep hoping. What is for you, another 2B question, what is for you the primary symbol of this text? Some have argued the primary symbol of this text is that house. That house that starts to represent not a house, but a home. Family, the belief in each other, the integrity, the willingness to work hard no matter what. Jump to 3A. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll say one other comment in 2B. Write it down. This dialect. Notice we had professional reader reading for us to help you read this dialect. Notice how it's easier to understand that when you hear it read aloud. Yeah? You could actually start to kind of figure out what was being said. It gives us, of course, a powerful cultural presence in the story, yes? That gives us a sense that we're right there in the story when we read with the dialect. Now let's jump to 3A. What is for you the text that teaches best that notion of you got to keep working hard no matter what? You remember as a freshman we did a text called Carry Your Own Skis that made the argument that you have to be self-sufficient. In the American literary tradition, probably the best example of this is Henry David Thoreau's Walden. That notion of you got to work, you got to make your own way, you got to sustain your own self instead of always relying on a lot of other people. What's the text for you in your playlist that says that? You got to make it on your own. Some of my students love that movie, 8 Mile, because it speaks directly to the idea that Eminem is sharing. You got to work hard to get what you want. It's not going to be given to you, especially in situations of economic deprivation like the one that we're playing with here. Notice, of course, the title of Civil Peace is an irony because before we had Civil War, we still have war, don't we? It's just obviously gone kind of underground, we might say, with Civil Peace. Anything to try and keep his family alive. Did this remind you of a film maybe that you saw where you have bad guys who are trying to hurt a good guy and the good guy and his family have to find a way to deal with it? Finally, a 3B response. Notice the brilliance of an Achebe text. This is a story from a completely different culture, different, foreign in every way, and yet somehow you can resonate with a story like this. To what degree are you self-sufficient? To what degree do you take care of yourself? Or as sophomores, do we still find ourselves relying increasingly on those adults in our life? The ones who have to get us up in the morning? What is that about? You don't need some adult to get you up in the morning. The ones to tell you to clean your space where you live. You don't need an adult to tell you that. The boss that has to tell you the next job instead of you knowing, I got to keep working because I'm being paid. These are all challenges. To what degree do you feel like you are self-sufficient? To what degree do you feel like you have to grow a little bit more in this area? How about this question? Second 2B question. How about this one? To what degree do you feel you're a person of optimism? That is to say, when bad things happen, do you ask, why did this happen to me? Or as Jonathan in our story, why did this happen for me? I can learn something from this and I make it through and I keep going. To what degree are you a warrior, in other words? A fighter, a struggler, a warrior. And the hope, of course, is that from a text like this, you'll be motivated to find the reason to keep going. Don't quit. Don't give up. Achebe classic. Thank you.